Jose, buenas tardes. I'm good. How are you? I'm working on my camera. You sound good? I'm working on my camera. It reset, so I feel like the settings are all different. I want to make sure it's the same. Okay, I got it. Okay, that should be fine.
I can hear you very well. My check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Next week, man. Guess ready as I'll ever be, right? Ew, I don't like that, no. But that's because you were probably really in pain. Well, I mean, who knows? I don't know what this will feel like. Yeah, me too. I try to avoid them. I think I usually take like the day of, like whenever I have any procedure, and then that's it. I don't like putting all the big pharma shit in me. Bob, FedEx came and took the box. Oh, you saw them? Really? Uh-oh. It said 45% chance of rain. 45% chance of rain. I guess it's more now. Oh, it says next hour precipitation 100%. Yep. Thunderstorm. Damn gnat in here.
All right, Victor, you should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me? Victor? All right, good. Yeah, you sound good. Hey, Joe, can you give me a little 10 count or something? One. Sounds great, Joe. Thank you. You're good. Manila. Let's test Manila.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Manilita, how are you? Good to see you.
Good. A storm is coming in right now.
You guys are getting a storm in Virginia?
Yeah, it's
Good.
rolling in right now in Northern Virginia.
Wow, how exciting. We get one of those every day.
Every day? Really?
Every single day.
I didn't know Florida was rainy.
That's what it's like to live in the tropics. Yeah. But
Oh.
yeah, we don't make a big deal out of it because usually it lasts 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes it lasts 2 hours. It all depends. And then it goes away.
Oh.
It's tropical weather.
Rain is still amazing to me. I'm a Californian.
Yeah, I know. You guys have 3 or 4 rainstorms a year.
A year. Yeah, but that's why we have all the accidents after the rain. You know that, right?
That's what I've heard. People don't know what to do. It's like, here.
No, it's not just that.
Oh, what is it?
It's because it's so dry, and because everybody drives cars and it drips into the pavement, into the roadways, that when it seeps in and it kind of bakes into the ground, and it's fine when it's dry, but then when the rain comes, it brings it all up because it's still warm. It brings it all up, and the roads are even slicker. So cars, people can't drive in them because it's super, super slippery. It's oil slicked.
There you go.
All of the roads.
Wow. California stories with Manila.
Only Californians know.
Okay. Mr. Banyay, how are you?
Hola, Rick, ¿qué tal?
Aquí en la lucha, viejo. Imagínate. Bien contento con todo. So amazing. Say again?
I saw Manila. How is she?
Manila's good.
I see Elijah.
There she
Can
is.
you hear
Hello, Manila.
Yeah.
Hi, Elijah. You're growing out the beard.
Yeah.
Sounds
Growing older.
For the fall,
Hey,
the fall beard.
it sounds good. At first, I thought you were a little overmodulated. Give me a quick 10 count there, if you would, Elijah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Sounds
6,
good.
7, 8,
Yeah,
9,
no,
10.
that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, and we're going to talk about Pavel Durov with you. And it's a fascinating conversation, and I can't wait to hear what you think about it, especially given that you're there in France. So this is a perfect timing for this interview. I know we were going to talk about Israel, but I think this becomes a little more important. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. And they have issued the accusation against him.
Failure to moderate? The hell does that mean?
Well, all 12 accusations are concentrated on one only. And this one is refused to communicate at the request of competent authorities information or document necessary for carrying out and operating interception allowed by law. So the only thing the French want is to be able to intercept all the messages, read them, and be able to intercept the people behind them. All the rest is rubbish. Pornography, drugs, money laundering.
That's crazy, though. That's a violation of privacy. Well, we'll talk about it on the air. We'll talk about it on the air. And okay. I'll share my opinion. You give me yours, and we'll do it. All right. Yes, let's do it. It's as high as you can get it? Okay. Yeah, it looks good. Good. I think we got it. Rick Sanchez here. This is Direct Impact, and this is what we are going to be talking about.
I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Lethal? Wow. Did you catch Kamala Harris at the DNC? She delivered by far one of the most neoconservative, most war hawkish speeches ever. What are we to make of this? I'm Rick Sanchez. Let's do this. We begin today with an arrest that seems to smack, and this is a global thing, seems to smack of government interference of free speech as well as a possible assault on privacy. Pavel Durov has been arrested. He is the founder of the social media site and digital platform Telegram. There he is. You see him. It's used by more than 1 billion people around the world. This thing's gotten really big. He was arrested over the weekend in France. The charge? Failure to moderate what people say and do on the Telegram platform, or at least that's, the original announcement of what they were looking at him for. We're going to get into some specifics in a little bit about what that's being defined down to now. Now, here's the article I wanted to show you as well. This is in the French newspaper Le Monde, just today. And I think this is interesting. Look at the headline. Look, it reads, Telegram affair poses a test for the European Union. And then the subhead says it's rekindling the debate on how to adjust the digital space to align with European regulations. Now, okay, that's fair. That's actually a fair headline and a fair comment. Governments do have the right to try and come up with perhaps some guidelines to make sure that social media and digital platforms aren't used for harm, for example. I get it. That's fair. In fact, France isn't the only country to criticize social media sites for sometimes irresponsible material on their platforms. Russia did the same thing. In fact, Russia actually did this when it went after Telegram. Here's the headline in that one if you want to see it. Russia tried to shut down Telegram. They did so because much of the material on Telegram was very critical of Russia. And in fact, Durov was critical of Russian President Vladimir Putin. So, yeah, I get it. Governments are trying to figure this whole new technology out. How are they going to figure it out? What are they going to do? Can we sit down and maybe come up with a plan or something, right? But Russia didn't arrest this guy. You know what I mean? They didn't arrest him. And now Telegram is used, by the way, by millions of Russians. And it's not just Russians. It's used by millions of people all over the world, obviously. In fact, it's favored by many because when you message on Telegram, it's supposed to be more secure, even supposedly encrypted. So why is France being heavily criticized for this? By people all over the world, by the way? Because arresting a CEO for what people may do or say on his platform or not say is a lot like arresting the head of a phone company for what people say or talk about during their private conversations on private lines. He can't control that. And here's the double standard. Now, look at this. Look at these pictures I found to share with you. Many social media sites, including Twitter and Facebook, have also come under similar scrutiny, as we discussed. But look how different the CEO of Facebook was treated. He was wined and dined when he went to France, sat down and got to hang out with French President Macron, who made sure they had nice pictures of the two of them. This is a sharp contrast, isn't it? Quite a double standard when you think about it in comparison to the CEO of Telegram. He wasn't wined and dined. I mean, he's been thrown in jail. And that's kind of where we are right now with this story. Manila, let me bring you into this. Thoughts over the top as you look at this story develop.
Well, we should point out that according to the officials at Telegram, they say that Pavel Durov is a French dual citizen Emirati citizenship, so a citizen of the UAE where he now resides. So we'd probably have to further explore whether or not that had any impact as to why they were arresting him, or if this is just on the broader scope of things, a way to punish him for not cooperating with French or European Union, EU laws regarding censorship, as we've seen in the UK, and how they're shutting things down there. And France, for example, does not like Rumble, the video platform, because also they are not censoring. So there's a lot of questions here regarding where France and their beliefs in freedom of expression and freedom of speech actually lie in 2024, when conveniently, as you just pointed out and showed, Mark Zuckerberg, who runs Facebook and Instagram, are notoriously places where you find a lot of child pornography and even human trafficking taking place, and it has been documented.
And by the way, you find it everywhere. I mean, this is the problem. Social media is not, you know, this newscast where we're very careful and try to be ethical and have certain standards that we have to uphold. Social media is just a big party where everybody can go in and say whatever the hell they want. So, I mean, that's what it is. Let's not fool ourselves. So to say that, oh, there was some stuff that was bad on Facebook, there was some stuff that was bad on Telegram, there was some stuff that was bad on Twitter. Duh, yes, and it's gonna be there, and there's no way you can get rid of it. The question is, who do you hold responsible for it? Maybe you need to just shut it down then, but you can't arrest one guy and let the other guy say, no problem, right? I mean, that's kind of what's going on here. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Now, I'm no expert in French law, but obviously, like here in the U.S., Section 230 is a major problem for tech companies as well as those on Capitol Hill, because sometimes it's applicable and they want to use, you know, these big tech companies, these social media companies, and call them, you know, a publisher. When it's convenient, they just allow them to be a platform, and they want them to not moderate. Other times they want them to moderate. But the key fact here, Rick, is that on both sides of the Atlantic, what they want, they being the powers in both France and here in Washington, is that they want access. The powers that be want backdoor access, and Pavel Durov is not playing ball.
Well, no, because again, that would be like saying, hey, by the way, Miss Manila or Mr. Rick, anytime you get on your phone, we're giving access to the CIA or whoever, so they can listen to your call. Just want to let you know. I mean, I would never get on my phone. I mean, why would I? Or the police or the mafia, whoever. All right, listen, second story. Ready? Democrats finally finished their convention. All things considered, the Broadway production went swimmingly well. Well, no real news came out of it. It was extremely entertaining. And it's likely going to boost their lead over Mr. Trump even more so. But many are still talking about Kamala Harris's saber-rattling, neoconish speech and wondering, when did the Democrats become so hawkish, so bloodthirsty and war-hungry sounding? Hear it.
As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
Lethal fighting force in the world. We're going to be the biggest, the baddest, the best. We're going to kill you. We're going to kill everybody. Like, what? Look, I'm old enough to tell you that it used to be the Democrats who were, at least in terms of what they presented in a speech like this in the past, they were the party of peace. We're going to make sure there's peace in the world. We're going to get rid of the wars. Republicans and their media partners at Fox News, for example, they were the war party. They're the ones who pushed through the Iraq War, not the Democrats, right? They pushed it right down Americans' throats. But now it's like the roles have completely reversed. I mean, I watched it happen when I covered the Iraq War when I worked at NBC. It's kind of fascinating to watch this woman, and I know there's reasons for it, what they're trying to do and position themselves a certain way, but Manila, what did you think of the Vice President Harris sounding like a cross between, I don't know, John Wayne and John Bolton?
Like John Bolton shaved and put a wig on? No, I mean, I really feel like what we heard in that 40-minute speech that she gave was like the DNC summoned the spirit of John McCain and talked about war, like you said, bloodthirsty, let's kill them all. I mean, that was the tone of all of this. And because it seems increasingly that the parties here in the U.S. have seemed to have switched priorities and goals and their platforms.
Yes.
You've seen a migration of the people that are neocons, even though the name is, short for neoconservative.
Yeah.
The neocon party is basically the Never Trump party, and they have migrated over to the DNC. We saw Adam Kinzinger, the former congressman, go speak. He was given a primetime slot at the DNC convention.
You're so right. You're so right. Yeah.
To applaud Kamala Harris
for, being this or that, the other thing, and promoting their values. And what are their values? Traditional conservatives. What are the traditional more wars?
More wars.
The John McCains, the John McCains of the 2000s.
Ukraine, and then China, and then Iran, and then Gaza, and then it's like it goes on forever, and you're wondering, wow, you guys used to be different. All right, let's talk Bobby Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of the man who would have been president of the United States if not assassinated, and the nephew of JFK, who was also assassinated, says his reputation has been assassinated by our two political systems, our two-party systems, most of all by the Democratic Party and as well the media, who literally chose to ignore him and ridicule him even when he had 20% of the vote.
The DNC-aligned mainstream media networks maintain a near-perfect embargo on interviews with me. During his 10-month presidential campaign in 1992, Ross Perot gave 34 interviews on mainstream networks. In contrast, during the 16 months since I declared, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, and CNN combined gave only 2 live interviews from me.
Isn't that amazing? The other guy got 20. He barely got 2. Kennedy has decided to quit his campaign, though he will not. He's still going to remain on the ballot in most states, by the way, which means it's kind of a quasi-quit. And he's throwing his support to Donald Trump. Trump, for his part, took the opportunity to announce an investigation, a task force that's going to look into what Americans have always wanted to know: who was really behind the killing of John F. Kennedy?
And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
This is amazing the way this developed this weekend. First, RFK Jr. says, I'm out. Then he announces he's going to go with Trump. Then Trump announces among the many things he's going to do is he's going to create this task force to find out who killed his father and his uncle. Fascinating the way this all played out, Manila. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, real quick, Rick, let's unpack this quasi-quitting, as you put it. He's quasi-quitting the campaign only in the states that are considered up for grabs, states like Nevada or North Carolina that are now considered swing states. He's taking his name off of those ballots in hopes that the voters that he had in those states will then migrate over to the Trump camp with his endorsement. He's hoping, if to be a spoiler only to the Democratic Party, I would say obviously a little bit as vengeance for the way they treated him so poorly when he's been a lifelong Democrat and championed, the environmental causes and health insurance and all of that stuff for decades. And when it came time for him to throw his hat in the ring, they stabbed him in the back. So in the 11th hour, that's what he's doing back to them in those purplish states. So he is still remaining on the ballots on the other ardently blue and ardently red states because he still needs to secure, for an independent party in 2028, he needs to secure 5% of the voting bloc in order to get federal funding for the next 2028 cycle, whoever that may be as an independent. So he's laying the groundwork as well. So I think this is going to be a great move to shake things up right after the DNC ended.
Point well made. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's fascinating. Yeah, and it's not just that they ignored him. I mean, they did everything possible to only focus on every negative thing that's ever happened in his life. And the guy ain't perfect, trust me. By the way, neither am I, neither's anybody else, but they really smeared it on things like that he found a bear once and left it in a park. Who cares? But it is what it is, and it's where we're going. Thanks, Manila. Great conversation. When we come back, we're going to drill down on France, the arrest of Pavel Durov, and what this really means. We're going to be joined by Elijah Magnier. He is live in France. There he is. He's a veteran war correspondent, a journalist. He knows a lot about this story and is going to share some details with us. We're so glad he's there. We'll be right back. Got it. So my producer just came and handed me the list of the charges being announced by France against the founder of Telegram. And for the most part, I can take you through it. But one key word that is basically the running line through all of it is complicity. Complicity. In other words, they're saying that he's complicit for anything bad that was said or done on his platform, which to my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, we're going to bring in a guest to talk about this now, is like saying the CEO of a phone company is complicit for anything that anybody talks about or plans on the phone or any other kind of communication device, and any company that owns a communication device. So this gets into some really tricky area. There's a couple of other things. Let me bring in Elijah Magnier. He's a veteran war correspondent and a journalist. He joins us now live from France. I'm looking at this. I'm sure you've probably looked at it as well, Elijah. What's your take on what you're seeing for the official reason for yanking this man off a plane and throwing him in jail and telling him he might have to be there for 20 years?
Well, first of all, it's important to highlight that he was granted the French nationality 3 years ago by the foreign ministry for his services to improve and contribute to influence in his action, the influence of France and the prosperity of the international economic relations. And 3 years later, he was thrown in jail. So if you look at the list in your hands, there are 12 charges.
Yep.
The most important one and the most significant reason why he was arrested is the second one, because he had refused to communicate at the request of the local authority, which in this case are the intelligence services, the information document necessary for carrying out operating interception allowed by law. So all the other accusations are really insignificant, even if they look very sexy. They talk about narcotic, pornography, all the complicity of all the rest are insignificant.
But again, let's just stop on that real quick, because you say it's insignificant, and people listening at home may not understand what you mean by insignificant. What they're saying is not that he had anything to do with pornography or sex or drug sales or any of that stuff, but that people using his platform may have used it to do those things, and they're going to hold him responsible for that. There's a far cry between charging me for selling drugs and saying that I happen to live in a block where people sold drugs, right?
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And all this complicity aimed to one objective, to twist his arm to allow the intelligence services to be able to monitor everyone on Telegram. And this is something that Durov showed resistance for every single authority that put pressure on him to monitor, control, and know every single person using Telegram whenever they want to know the origin, the place of transmission, his personal data, etc. So if you showed a picture of Facebook CEO sitting with, then Meta, with Emmanuel Macron. In fact, if you look at what Facebook and YouTube and all the others, they accept to cancel and delete tens of thousands of accounts to the request of various governments. But Telegram accepted only to delete 1,300 and nothing more, because he considers anything that is on Telegram is private. It is owned by the individual. It is not him who is responsible. But any material that is deleted, that is stolen, then he deleted it.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm tussling with this myself, okay? I want to be fair. I'm a journalist, and I've always been trained, and when I went to the University of Minnesota to study journalism, and my professors ingrained in me what are my responsibilities as a journalist, what my ethics are as a journalist about sourcing. We have specific shield laws in the United States which tell us we are not allowed to give the government our sources. If I talk to you in private and you tell me, Rick, I don't want people to know you talk to me, I have to protect you. That's my duty as a journalist. Now, what these guys in Facebook and Telegram and all these other places do, they're not journalists. So here's the question that I'm always tussling with, and I'm wondering how you feel about this and how people in Europe feel about this. Should the standards that I have to uphold as a journalist, which I uphold to, and I'm very disciplined about them, should those same standards be used on these people who own Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media sites? What do you think?
I think you're talking about values and principles that we've lost in Europe. That is the key. And it all started not with the CEO of Telegram. It started several months ago when Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the Commission, came out and said, we have to control anything on social media to make sure that you do not, as a citizen of Europe, receive misinformation or disinformation. In another word, they are eroding the democratic value of Europe that once was a pillar of the civil liberties and free expression, and it is now reaching a very alarming trend of authoritarian style regulation cloaked under the guise of security and regulatory compliance.
Because when you say things like what you just said, it becomes in many ways a matter of opinion. In other words, one man's threat is another man's truth. So, you know, as long as they say good things about Macron, then that's a good social media site. But the moment they criticize France and perhaps praise China or Iran, that's a bad social media site, and those people need to be called to account. That's the problem, right?
Yes, it is what they tell us that is supposed to need to combat harmful content on online platform is in fact a convenient pretext to expanding states' control over digital communication. And they use Digital Services Act rather than being a safeguard against extremism or harmful material as a pervasive censorship to block people from saying the truth or state their mind. So there is a big difference between a legitimate free of expression that is allowed by the law and is part of our constitution, and the control of who is going behind the control, who's telling us what is right or wrong, what is his authority, and how he is selective about what we can say, what we cannot say. That is a problem.
I would think, and you know, you're an expert on French culture much more than I am. I can tell you about the Hispanic world, not the French world, but I would think that this will cause at least a discussion in France. I read that article that I found this morning in Le Monde. I thought it was generally fair. At least they're trying to figure it out. Do you sense that there will be pushback to Macron doing this in European and more specifically French society?
Well, I think you still have an ideal opinion of Europe, which is no longer the case. Now we talk about, in Europe, there is a lot of talk about radicalization, about terrorism, criminal activity, and hateful social media expression. And all that is to justify the restriction and exaggerating as a tool to legitimize increasing state intervention into the private communication that people have. Unfortunately, we have become a state-ruled system.
Final question. How much do you think this arrest has to do with the fact that he's Russian?
I don't think this is important. I think what is important is to make sure that any consumer or any user on social media has any way of communication that needs to be controlled by the states or removed completely. The fact that he is Russian, it contributes perhaps to his accusation. This is where they're going to highlight the fact that he's Russian if he refuses to collaborate. And I think that will go down well in the mind of people who are ignorant about the reality behind it and who blindly stand behind their government without questioning the destructive act in the war between Ukraine and NATO against Russia.
This is fascinating, you know, and once again, it's probably a story that we should be discussing. It's an important story. It's one we should talk about, and it's the kind of story that we talk about on this show. Sadly, I can almost guarantee you this story will barely get a mention anywhere in Western media. Forget about CNN, forget about NBC, forget about ABC, et cetera. They will generally ignore it. And if they cover it, it will be colored, and it will probably be what we call in this business a 30-second voiceover. So there you have it. Just thought I'd tell you the difference about what part of the world learns and the other part doesn't get to learn. Elijah Magnier, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us and bringing us up to date on this fascinating story.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's our show. Remember to always be looking outside, as we like to say around here, your own box, because truths don't live in your particular box. Truths are everywhere. I'm Rick Sanchez. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you next time. Is she as tall as I am? About the same? That'd be perfect. I like my women about. I could have done something else. Oh, shit. That's what I use. When I eat meat, I always get shit stuck in my teeth. Oh. Victor, give me some shots here. Let me see what this looks like. So this is, and so joining us now is Marianne. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Blah, blah, blah. So this is going to be my tight shot when I talk to her? So this is my presentation. This is camera one, tight Rick. What is that stuff on the side there? Okay, and how about her? Is she framed? This is my shot. Oh, perfect, okay. Bad lighting, but it's kind of what I expected. No, because we're not going to have time to adjust. I think that's probably it. Yeah, he says in there, man needs to be taught. They're trying to deconstruct the United States, and then he goes off on this thing about. So this is the shot here? Okay, looks good. Yeah, it's a little hot, but. All right, and now give me her shot. Can you give me 3? Perfect. Yeah, her shot looks good. She's got better lighting than I do. That's fine. You do. There's no question. It's about 58 years younger, so what the fuck? Women, about men feeling
of America begins with and depends on the deconstruction of American men.
the deconstruction
The
of
left
America.
want to define traditional masculinity.
It's at 24. Oh, no, sorry.
They
It's
want to
different.
define the traditional masculine virtues, things like courage and independence and assertiveness, as a danger to society.
That's perfect. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. You say it was in the way he just, did you hear some of that? Toxic, that manlyhood is, unless he's spoken there before. Let me see how he introduced it. Sure. Maybe if you bring that camera up a little bit too, it's too low. The other ear. That one. Oh, okay. Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Bingo bongo. You're absolutely correct. You guys.
Doesn't always happen.
You guys need a hand? Oh, once you get it up, it sticks there? Okay. That's good right there. So we got that shot. Cuando salí de Cuba.
Absolutely. Pleasure. Victor Maria. And the gang.
Thank you.
Joshua.
You ready? We're going to get in our spots. Let's get this. ¿Cómo? Sí, estoy haciendo Monjaro. Sí. Estoy bueno considerando que soy un viejo. Te voy a poner aquí.
Tú siempre has sido bueno. ¿Quieres que te lo diga?
Después de viejo. Bobby, how's the shades? How's the shading? I like her camera. It looks good.
I love this light.
Yeah, I know. It's the best. I know. Esas luces antiguas. Bobby, ¿cómo le decían a las luces que usábamos antes? Los spotlights, eso. Eso era mierda.
Es lo que
Te tenían que poner te tenían que ponerte como 25 luces en una cara. It's like, and it never worked. It was always like spotty and shit. Okay, let's have some fun. So number one is this is going to be my single, my tight shot when I'm doing when I'm interviewing her. Looks good. Looks good. Dos veces a la semana. Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's it. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Two shows a week.
Ya. Tú sabes que estoy quemada con la radio. Son 4 horas diarias, hermano.
I used to do radio.
Me he sacado una y ahora en lugar de 3 a 7 estoy 4 a 7, pero aún así es too much.
Sí. Y en radio casi todos en el aire. Aquí esto es más preparación. I mean, you know, I write my shows and it's like.
Y ahora estoy empezando el show que te dije en la.
This is the 2 shot. Okay, hold on. The director's talking to me. This is the wide shot.
No, I think it's good.
I think it's fine.
I think it's good.
Yeah. And you're only going to use this mostly as a cutaway. And at the very end, I'm going to introduce her and I'm going to say, you know, something to the effect de, mira quién está aquí con nosotros ahora, estamos con Mariana de la Fuente, ta. Vamos a regresar en un momentico, no se nos vayan. Pum, y pa'l carajo. We go to break. Let me see the jib. Coño, the jib looks good.
It's amazing.
Joe, that jib looks great.
It's amazing.
That jib looks really, really important. In fact, I like the jib better than the tube. Yeah. Take the jib whenever you want to play.
Thank you.
And then let me see her tight. Let me see her tight. Tight is 3. That looks good.
Okay.
How do you like her shading? Shading looks good?
That's good.
All right, let's do this. We'll center, you know what? Once you center me up though, because you know, because I'm Cuban, I have a tendency to, no. Center me up with this camera first and then we'll work from that. Okay, so this is my center. I'm putting my glasses right there. Now I know, because you know, I move too much. and all right, now take me on one and see if that works. Perfect. I'm centered here, I'm centered there. Well, she's from Spain, so she talks with her hands too, so.
Oh yeah, believe me.
She'll probably be doing it. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't think we have to be too picayune about things.
En un momento puedo hacer así.
Yeah, just gonna strangle this motherfucker. All right, sound good? All right. Let's get this show on the road. You gonna give me time cues? Would you remind Joe? All right. I think I wrote this. It feels like it's about 9 minutes. I got you, Joe.
Se me escucha bien, pero
You
va
want
uno,
to,
dos,
okay,
tres.
so she's going to leave for me to do the beginning because she doesn't need to be here for my mono. So that's your mark.
That's cool.
Put a mark right there. Can you got a piece of tape? Oye, Peyton.
No,
do you
yo lo
have,
veo.
do you have a piece of tape? Yes, we're going to do the show in the normal order. You're okay? It's going to take us 25 minutes for the whole show.
Absolutely.
Okay. We just need a mark for her. Thank you, dear. Boy, I love that jib shot.
Thank you.
Aquí, is that your belly button?
Yep. Here we are.
Dale. Perfect. Yeah, I will. I got my belly button set up here. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Peyton, what's the matter? Oh. Well. Víctor, habla con Marianne.
Please. Yeah, it's perfect.
Habla con Marianne.
Yeah.
Dale un 10 count.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Give me a 10. Dame un 10 count. Víctor.
Perfecto.
Good. Okay, productor, Joe, give me a 10 count. Got you. Perfect. Thank you. Give Marianne a 10 count. Can you hear Joe?
No.
No, don't worry about it. He may just be in my ear. So.
I follow you.
Okay.
I love that. Me encanta ese despacho. Mira qué belleza.
All right, so hey, Vic, here's the plan. We're going to go ahead and knock out the monologue. Oye, Vic. Hey, Victor, when you're done there, come out here real quick. So let's do this. She's gonna walk away, and I'm gonna do the monologue. As soon as we're done with the monologue, we come out, and just before the end of the monologue, we want to introduce her. So let's bring her out at the end of my last soundbite, which is, do I have it here? Joe, you only gave me one.
We're doing block. Unless we're doing block 2.
No, we're doing block 1.
Block 1.
She doesn't have to run right away. She's got an extra 7 minutes.
So I'm out and I go.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's.
Got it. So at the end of the last.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, the last soundbite is when we throw to RFK Jr. saying the media ignored me. Ross Perot got 20 appearances. I got 2, and all they ever did was write bad shit about me. And there is when we're going to bring her out. Okay, thanks. Perfect. Let's do it. Hey, thanks, guys, for helping me get that refrigerator out of the car. Tesla's got a lot of room back there. I put golf clubs, all kinds of shit. Dead bodies. My golf clubs? No, fuck you. Yeah, that's what they used to say about the gangsters. ¿Te acuerdas? En las películas de Godfather y todo eso, que todos tenían que, siempre conducían en un, ¿cómo se llama? El Lincoln Town Car. El Lincoln. I know. Yo tenía uno. El Lincoln Continental, el Lincoln Town Car. ¿Cuál era el otro? Bueno, el Cadillac. Sí. Pero tú sabes que en esos días el maletero no abría. Así que si abrías el maletero, no te podías llegar a donde están los asientos. Pero hoy en día todos los carros se pueden mover los asientos. Así que, aunque tienes un carro pequeño, tienes un tremendo maletero. Antes no, eso es nuevo. Uno arriba del otro. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. Vamos. I think the script is clean. I looked at it one more time and scrubbed it, but we should be good. Shouldn't have to stop. Soy Rick Sánchez, Impacto Directo, y esto es lo que necesitas saber en el día de hoy. Robert Kennedy anuncia que va a apoyar a Trump y su campaña, ¿qué? Te lo diré. Vamos con todo. Pues así ocurrió. Al fin se ha terminado la campaña de Robert Kennedy Jr., alguien con ideas únicas y muy diferentes de los dos partidos estadounidenses, los republicanos y los demócratas. Kennedy es y siempre ha sido antiguerra, anticorrupción, pro trabajador y anti la política esa normal del sistema estadounidense. Su padre también tenía ideas antipolíticas normales y como presidente hubiera cambiado el camino de este país. Su elección estaba casi asegurada cuando lo mataron. Lo mataron en un hotel antes de las elecciones presidenciales del año 1968.
Oh, my God. Senator Kennedy has been shot. And another man, a Kennedy campaign manager. That's it, Raper. Get it. Get the gun, Raper. Okay, now hold on to the guy. Hold on to him. Hold on to him, ladies and gentlemen. Hold him. Hold him. We don't want another Oswald.
Qué momento más increíble ese, ¿eh? Si te pones a pensar. Y cuando ese reportero dice Oswald, se refiere al asesino que mató a su tío, el presidente John F. Kennedy. Quería acabar también con la guerra en Vietnam, ¿te acuerdas? Pero antes de poder hacerlo, también fue eliminado. El asesinato todavía sigue siendo misterioso, hasta cierto punto controversial también. Y será por esa misma razón que el expresidente Donald Trump está usando esta ocasión para anunciar con Kennedy, ahí mismito a su lado, lo vas a ver, que quiere asignar un comité que va a investigar el asesinato si gana la elección.
And they will be tasked with releasing all of the remaining documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Y ahí, por primera vez, lo viste, ¿no? Vimos a Kennedy compartiendo el micrófono con Trump y hablando de sus planes. Entre ellos, quiere atacar las corruptas empresas que, según él, están envenenando la juventud.
And I want to ask you again, don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease?
Mira, vamos a hacer esto, vamos a hablar claro. Nadie, pero nadie con conocimiento, nadie con inteligencia puede negar que las ideas de Kennedy son importantes. Son ideas importantes, ideas válidas, ¿no? Son tan válidas, tan diferentes, que los que ayudaron a llegar a él, a captar el 20% de los votantes en las encuestas al principio de su campaña. Ese número, el 20%, esa medida para un independiente en esta política, en la política de Estados Unidos, es increíblemente impresionante. 20% para un independiente. Sin embargo, los dos partidos lo atacaron y lo dejaron fuera de debates y de otros foros. Pero los que más lo atacaron, hablando la verdad, fueron los demócratas, según la misma compañera de candidatura de Kennedy.
This DNC-aligned PAC that was created specifically to take us out has spent millions of dollars to take us out. They have unfortunately turned us into a spoiler. And we don't want to be a spoiler. We wanted to win. We wanted a fair shot. The DNC made that impossible for us. They have banned us, shadow banned us, kept us off stages, manipulated polls, used lawfare against us, sued us in every possible state. They've even planted insiders into our campaign to disrupt it and to create actual legal issues for us.
Qué cosa más horrible, ¿eh? Y los medios también lo maltrataron. Cuando las encuestas lo tenían, como había mencionado yo hace un momentico, en 20%, solamente ese hecho, solamente ese número se merecía cobertura, pero no se lo dieron, no se lo dieron. Y no solamente le negaron cobertura, también le negaron acceso. Sus ideas fueron ignoradas, no lo invitaron a sus programas, tampoco a los debates. Y peor todavía es lo siguiente, la única cobertura, esto es casi cómico, la única cobertura que le dieron fue negativa, con reportajes ridículas y escandalosos y de cosas que, imagínate, le encontraron en su pasado.
Now to more on the presidential race, a confession from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that he once left a dead bear cub in New York Central Park.
Un oso. Cuando los medios se enteraron que hace unos 10 años Kennedy encontró un oso muerto y lo dejó en un parque, lo trataron como si hubiera robado un banco. Más allá, sabiendo que no es verdad, lo presentaron como si Kennedy fue el que mató el animal adrede. Increíble. ¿Cuáles son las ideas de Kennedy? Está en contra del papel que ha tomado Estados Unidos en la guerra en Ucrania. Ok. Está en contra del sistema de impuestos que favorece a los ricos. Está en contra del sistema político que permite que los elegidos acepten dinero de grandes corporaciones y multimillonarios. Kennedy ha detallado propósitos para esas ideas y muchas más, otras. Propósitos que ni Harris ni Trump han presentado en sus campañas. Sin embargo, la prensa lo ignora. Y entonces, ¿de qué quieren hablar? ¿Y de qué quieren hacerle preguntas cuando lo llaman por teléfono? Del oso que encontró muerto y dejó en un parque y otras tonterías. Es horrible lo que le han hecho a Kennedy. No es perfecto y tiene unas cuantas ideas un poquito diferentes también, más de la cuenta. Pero no dejaron que sus ideas le lleguen al pueblo. Él mismo mencionó esa misma cosa al dejar su campaña y se comparó con otros candidatos independientes como Ross Perot en el pasado.
During his 10-month presidential campaign in 1992, Ross Perot gave 34 interviews on mainstream networks. In contrast, during the 16 months since I declared, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, and CNN combined gave only 2 live interviews from me. Those networks instead ran a continuous deluge of hit pieces with inaccurate, often vile, pejoratives and defamatory smears.
Quiere decir entonces que no hablaron de sus ideas, no lo pusieron en televisión, no le hicieron entrevistas en los periódicos y no lo invitaron a los debates. ¿Sabes qué? Es interesante, nosotros que vivimos en este país, muchos estadounidenses piensan que todos los candidatos en nuestro sistema político tienen la misma oportunidad de poder expresar sus ideas. Y el que mejor idea tenga y mejor la exprese es el que sube, es el que gana en las encuestas y en las elecciones. No es así. No es así. ¿Sabe por qué? Porque la realidad es que si un candidato no le puede llegar al pueblo, si sus ideas son bloqueadas por un sistema que lo hace adrede, entonces es imposible tener éxito. Imposible. Por eso es que solamente hay 2. Y son escogidos muchas veces. No todas las veces, pero muchas veces. Eso es lo que le pasa a cualquier candidato con ideas frescas, pero que chocan con los intereses poderosos. Y eso es lo que le pasó a Kennedy. Ok, cuando regresemos, vamos a hablar con una gran periodista sobre este tema. Mariana de la Fuente.
¿Cómo estás?
Trabajaste en NBC, trabajaste en Telemundo,
CBS.
Trabajaste en CBS, en Telecinco, en
Antena 3.
Antena 3. Imagínate tú la experiencia que tienes.
30 años en este país.
Wow. Un placer tenerte aquí.
Muchísimas gracias a ti, muchísimas gracias también a todos tu audiencia.
Vamos a hablar de este tema cuando regresemos.
Claro que sí.
Dale. Nice. Y acuérdate que eso ahora le ponen, they fix the music so it comes in right away. La que se llama. ¿Te gustó el...?
Me encantó. Nos lo hiciste llegar a la gente.
Just to the right a little bit, we can see both of your hands in each other's shots.
Because we're Spanish and we used our hands to talk. What are we going to do?
Creating a little space.
I'm going to put my foot up here, too.
I can put mine.
Do you guys need anything?
You know, I'll take a little more water. I had some chicharrones earlier and I feel like I'm needing to dehydrate.
¿Comiste chicharrones?
Me metí unos cuantos chicharrones como si fuera un animal.
Nosotros fuimos a comer milanesa. Un
Nice.
sitio te lo recomiendo.
¿Cómo se llama?
¿Cómo se llama? Ay, se me fue el nombre ahora. Está al lado justo de la radio, pero es donde van todos los jugadores del Inter, todos los argentinos de acá. Se van para ahí, un sitio súper chiquitito, tipo warehouse así, pero unas milanesas así. La de Messi con 3 huevos fritos encima, con las patatas fritas. Ay, tengo la foto, luego te la enseño, espectacular.
Viste de eso, de los grandes.
No, pero divino, divino. No es barato para el sitio que es, pero merece la pena por la comida que es.
Gracias a Dios yo estoy llegando ahora a ese lugar en mi vida donde no puedo comer como comía antes. Me ordeno un bistec y me como la mitad, casi siempre.
No, pero tú estás mucho más flaco que la última vez que yo te vi, for sure.
Estoy tomando...
¿Ozempic?
No, el otro, Monjarno.
Ok. Eso es lo mismo, ¿no? Que la glucosa.
Buenísimo.
¿Sí?
What? 2 shot. ¿De qué edad tú viniste?
Yo llegué con 22 años.
Perfecto. Y yo con 2.
Iba a cumplir 23, 22 años. La más jovencita de CBS Telenoticias.
¿En ese momento?
Me acuerdo que me pintaban los labios más fuertes y tal, que yo no me pinto nunca.
Yo fui el periodista más joven en televisión en Miami. Y el primer hispano.
El primer hispano, eso sí, of course.
Great, that's perfect. I like that. We have 16 minutes, so we can...
Just perfect. Y esto está súper cerquita de la radio. Sin tráfico está súper cerca. Lo malo es que el tráfico aquí es tenaz, ¿verdad?
¿Pero dónde estás?
Palmetto.
¿Tienes que montarte en el Palmetto?
Sí, en la 82 con... No, estoy en la 82 con la 25.
Pero you go south, sur.
Ya.
Oh, sur it's not a problem.
No, sur no, voy para el norte.
Oh, north.
Pero creo que voy a irme por carretera. O sea, you know what I'm saying, me voy a coger la 87 Avenida y voy a subir toda la 87 Avenida. O la 82.
Para mí
porque el Palmetto está full.
Yeah.
Sí, pero depende de dónde lo puedas coger. Aquí, por ejemplo, no lo puedes coger.
Lo puedo coger, pero
claro.
me dejan en Hialeah.
Claro, eso lo hago yo cuando vengo de la I-75. Le mandé a tu productor la entrevista con Kennedy, la que hice en exclusiva.
Oh, perfect.
La hice hace como menos de un mes. ¿Cómo se llama? Mona.
A Mona. A la Booker.
Sí, fue así algo súper inesperado, pero llevaba tiempo detrás de él. Me dijo, voy a estar en Miami. Le dije, oye, te entrevisto. Me dijo, vente. Y me pasé y mientras estaba maquillando y tal, nos sentamos, pusimos unas luces y le hice la entrevista ahí. Pero fue en exclusiva, no había dado una entrevista a nadie.
¿Y lo encontraste?
No, él me llamó, yo le llamé. Tenía el contacto y le hablé, le dije, cuando estés por Miami, let's talk. Y me dijo, ok.
Perfect.
So, we did it. Y ahora tengo, tengo martes a María Corina también en exclusiva.
Wow.
Hablé con ella ayer en la noche. Le dije, empiezo show la semana que viene. And I want you for the first show. Oh, eso es harina.
You ready? Let's go. Music in. No está aquí los lunes, está aquí los martes. Martes a jueves. 3:30. Rick Sánchez, aquí estamos de vuelta, premiada, destacada como periodista, como escritora. Aquí tenemos a Marian de la Fuente, que también, encima de todo, es madrileña.
Sí, señor.
Quiere decir que me va a poder mejorar mi español.
Con todos los años que tú llevas en el mercado hispano, no creo que necesites pulirte mucho. Tú sabes que no.
Gracias por estar aquí.
Gracias a ti.
Tú hiciste entrevista reciente con el señor Kennedy.
Sí, fíjate que llevaba detrás de la entrevista como casi 2 meses. Vino para Miami y me dijo, vente y hacemos la entrevista. Pero así, como que de un minuto para otro, le dije, ok, voy para allá. Entonces estuve hace como, justo la semana antes de que Biden se bajara de la carrera a la candidatura, y tuvimos una conversación muy interesante en la que ya él estaba perfilándome la idea de, obviamente, lanzar la toalla. Y,
¿Irse con Trump?
Sí, porque yo le hago una pregunta específica y le dije, en estos momentos, por lo que estamos conversando, yo siento que tus políticas se acercan mucho más a la campaña de Donald Trump que a la de Biden en ese momento. Y me dijo, es cierto, él estaba en contra de 2 cosas principalmente. Una, en la manipulación de la justicia y en que se utilice uno de los 3 poderes fundamentales de este país, en el que se basó realmente la democracia en este país, que es la separación de poderes. Estaba muy indignado en que se utilizara la justicia, como en cualquier país de Latinoamérica, para alejar a un candidato de la elección y que fuera el propio pueblo el que eligiera realmente quién quiere tener como presidente.
Y en este caso, si se lo puede hacer el Partido Demócrata, y hasta cierto punto el Partido Republicano también, pero más yo creo los demócratas,
mucho más.
Entonces también se lo puede hacer el Departamento de Justicia o otro departamento en el gobierno.
Y otra cosa importante, nosotros vivimos en un país donde nos jactamos de tener toda clase de libertades, de estar a la cabeza del mundo, de ser los comisarios del mundo. Pero creo que tenemos que hacer un mea culpa y pegarnos un tironcito de orejas importante en el aspecto de que los medios de comunicación en este momento, los que tú y yo hemos trabajado, en CNN, en NBC, en CBS, no están trabajando en pro de la libertad informativa, sino con una censura y una mordaza informativa, donde obviamente responden a intereses editoriales, donde los periodistas han pasado más al papel de activismo político que al papel de periodistas, y eso está influyendo en que la gente no reciba esa información que tú estabas diciendo antes y que para Robert Kennedy era tan importante, porque independientemente de lo que tú quieras votar o cualquier persona quiera votar, al menos tienen que conocer en qué basar su opinión. Y si tú como periodista les estás impidiendo conocer esa realidad, de alguna forma les estás restringiendo esa libertad.
No, y esa combinación del Partido Demócrata abusándolo, criticándolo, dejándolo afuera, y al mismo tiempo sus amigos, y uso esas palabras porque son palabras importantes, sus amigos en la prensa y en los medios, entonces le hacen la misma cosa. Es casi imposible poderle ganar a esa fuerza.
Fíjate, Rick, nosotros llevamos ¿cuántos? Yo en mi caso 30 años cubriendo las convenciones tanto republicanas como demócratas.
Yo también.
Siempre hemos dicho que las convenciones se convierten, es como Naciones Unidas o la Organización de Estados Americanos, en foros de buenísimas intenciones. Todo el mundo tiene una intención fantástica de hacer. La pregunta es ¿cómo? La segunda pregunta es ¿cuándo? Y tú te das cuenta que todo lo que se promete en estas convenciones es muy difícil que se pueda llevar a efecto. En el caso de los medios de comunicación, están apoyando la forma, están vendiendo la forma, pero no están llegando al fondo.
Es un show.
Exactamente, y no están llegando al fondo. Y en estos momentos Robert Kennedy, por ejemplo, él decía, para mí es importante que la gente sepa cuál es mi política. Mi política es que un candidato a la presidencia de los Estados Unidos, independientemente, como te diga, quién decida después con su voto en las urnas a quién va a elegir, por lo menos se tiene que proyectar.
Pero no le dieron la información, no le dieron la oportunidad.
Pero por el Partido Demócrata más que por el Partido Republicano.
Sin
y
duda.
eso es una realidad.
Sin duda.
Porque el Partido Demócrata de ahora no es el Partido Demócrata de Bill
No, al
Clinton.
contrario, el Partido Demócrata de este momento es el partido más preparado. Yo sigo diciendo que es como si fuera un show en Broadway. Esa convención que acabamos de ver, bonita, las canciones fantásticas, entretenida, pero no había noticia, no había verdad. En los años 1960, 1968. Se fajaban hasta los piñazos y ponían a un Bobby Kennedy y ponían a una Hillary Clinton y ponían el otro tipo y la otra señora. Y entonces tenían que escoger entre esos candidatos. Hoy en día entran a la convención ya con un rey o una reina.
No, lo que pasa es que ahora ven de la convención Beyoncé y ven de la convención cualquier persona
Oprah,
que tú quieras poner, Oprah, etcétera. Pero al final del día a la gente no le importa eso es parte del show. A la gente lo que le importa es saber que hay una realidad que no podemos alejarnos como medios de comunicación y como periodistas, y es la manipulación de la información en estos momentos en los Estados Unidos. Y mientras nosotros no pongamos nuestro granito de arena, Rick, para acabar con eso, estamos mal. Estamos tremendamente mal porque a día de hoy, por ejemplo, en Arlington esta mañana ha habido un funeral con los familiares de los caídos en la caótica salida de Afganistán por parte, by the way, de esta administración.
Sí.
Las grandes cadenas no lo han cubierto a excepción de Fox.
No le hacen cobertura de la política extranjera.
Eso
no
es
hacen
importante.
cobertura de la política extranjera de los Estados Unidos de América. No lo hacen.
Bueno, y
Tú puedes poner un canal y no vas a escuchar nada de lo que pasó hoy en Francia con el dueño de Telegram. No vas a saber lo que está pasando en Ucrania. No vas a saber lo que está pasando en el mar de China. Nada, no existe.
Y eso sin entrar en los detalles más particulares y más concretos de la corrupción y de las investigaciones que está realizando el Comité de Supervisión del Congreso sobre los posibles trabajos que hizo el señor Hunter Biden en el extranjero, utilizando la marca de su papá para poder ganar dinero. Solamente la semana pasada volvieron a salir casi otros 13 millones de dólares que habían caído por parte de ciertas corporaciones de hidroeléctricas. ¿Tienes todavía la implicación en la salida del fiscal ucraniano de Víctor Shekin a cambio de los 3.000 millones de dólares? Tiene un montón de información que no sale a la luz y la pregunta del millón es ¿por qué?
Porque los medios están controlados y la gran mayoría de los medios en los Estados Unidos no dan las noticias que necesita la audiencia escuchar, dan la noticia que ellos creen que le conviene para los intereses que ellos tienen corporativos y políticos. Esa es la respuesta.
Rick, ni tú ni yo somos dueños de la verdad.
¿Y quién son esos periodistas? No son ni periodistas. Yo estudié periodismo y me ha pasado casi 30, 40 años haciendo periodismo. Pero esta gente que yo veo en las cadenas de la NBC, la misma Fox, la misma... No son periodistas. Es un tipo que antes era el vocero del presidente Biden o Clinton o Obama o Bush o quien sea.
O tienes un apellido ilustre.
Y ahora tiene un puesto como periodista.
O
Pero
tienes
¿cómo puede ser?
Ilustres.
Y tiene su propio programa.
Y la meritocracia se va dejando atrás. Ahora es una situación extremadamente triste, porque al final del día, como decía, ni tú ni yo somos dueños de la verdad, pero sí tenemos la responsabilidad de poner sobre esta mesa de trabajo todos los aspectos que puedan llevar a las personas que nos están viendo a decidir cuál es su verdad sobre cada cosa. Y no lo estamos haciendo, Rick.
Bueno, lo interesante es que yo tengo la ventaja de poder hacerlo porque estoy hablando yo tengo un programa alternativo. Yo tengo un programa que no sale de Washington, no le debo nada a los políticos de Washington o las corporaciones de los Estados Unidos. Igual que hay muchos podcasts, igual que el programa de radio tuyo, pero somos pocos. Comparados con los... Yo no soy CNN, yo no soy NBC, yo no soy Fox, yo no soy el New York Times.
Bueno, ¿has visto la compra de medios ahora, por ejemplo, por esos familiares de ese señor que se pronuncia igual del derecho que del revés, comprando estaciones de radio para educar a los hispanos? Cuando tú empiezas a darte cuenta de eso, Rick, hay algo absolutamente detrás. Y al final del día merecemos por lo menos saber qué está pasando. Como te digo, independientemente de quién queramos votar al final, pero merecemos saber qué está pasando. Merecemos saber si en la computadora del señor Hunter Biden realmente se puede demostrar que la familia Biden tenía una implicación en el despido del fiscal ucraniano. Y qué puede pasar incluso con el tema ahora de la financiación de la guerra. Porque a lo mejor, quién sabe, si es de esa misma manera, pues es que no lo sabemos, Rick.
¿Escuchaste el discurso de la vicepresidenta Harris?
Sí, claro.
Increíble, muy guerrera, vamos a ser el mejor ejército más grande del mundo, vamos a matar a todo el mundo.
¿Cómo?
Pero ¿por qué hablar así? ¿Y qué le ha pasado al Partido Demócrata, que antes era el partido de paz y ahora se ha convertido en el partido de guerra, y el Partido Republicano, que antes era el partido de guerra, ahora es más o menos más el partido de paz, o menos guerra, por lo menos?
El tema es que en estos momentos el que era el partido de los trabajadores, el que siempre de repente fue la umbrella del trabajador, ha pasado al otro lado. Ahora el Partido Republicano cuida mucho más del trabajador que puede cuidar, por ejemplo, el Partido Demócrata, porque el Partido Demócrata está manejado en estos momentos por el Estado profundo, por la gente que no permite que sangre nueva llegue a unas elecciones, por el que decide,
los elites.
por el que decide realmente dentro del partido. Yo no te digo que en el Partido Republicano no exista lo mismo,
Claro,
existe exactamente igual, pero lo que estamos viendo en estos momentos, a día de hoy, en ese Partido Demócrata, asusta. Y te hago una pregunta que quiero compartir también con tus oyentes y con tu audiencia. La vicepresidenta se ha jactado de decir yo voy a hacer, yo voy a hacer, yo voy a hacer, yo voy a hacer, yo voy a hacer.
Está leyendo.
Maravilloso.
Acuérdate que está leyendo.
Ok, maravilloso. ¿Por qué no lo hace usted ahora, señora vicepresidente? Porque a día de hoy esa señora está en estos momentos manejando las riendas de este país. Y yo, como americana, tengo el derecho y la obligación de saber, oiga...
¿Tú crees
bueno,
que realmente lo está haciendo?
Bueno,
pero entonces déjame hacerte esta pregunta. ¿Cuándo estaba Biden encargado?
No lo sé, creo que hace mucho tiempo que dejó de estar encargado.
Pero entonces déjame hacerte otra pregunta. ¿Qué presidente de verdad está encargado del país? Se encarga del país y no deja que sus asesores le digan lo que tienen que hacer.
Yo te digo, yo nunca...
Porque esa es una pregunta bien importante en este momento en la política de los Estados Unidos.
Que le he hecho a todos los congresistas, senadores y gente que ha pasado por el programa de un lado y del otro lado. Y he sido bien directa. Señores, ¿ustedes creen que este presidente al que se le ha obligado a tirar la toalla para que no vuelva a ser candidato a la presidencia 4 años más de este país, está en condiciones de manejar la presidencia ahora? ¿Quién está tomando las determinaciones? Si hay un ataque de Hezbollah a Israel, Israel tiene que responder. Si las cosas se salen de plano en Ucrania y con Rusia, ¿quién tiene que responder? ¿Quién lo está haciendo?
El Departamento de Estado, que siempre ha respondido, y la CIA, que siempre ha respondido, y el Pentágono, la última respuesta que te voy a dar es el presidente Biden. Porque no creo que él nunca ha sido la persona que está tomando esas decisiones.
Mira, nosotros no podemos obviamente certificar que lo está haciendo, pero lo que sí te puedo decir...
Te puedo decir que en este momento está en una playa.
Está en Delaware.
Sí. No, primero se fue para Palm Beach, California, y de California ya se fue para Delaware. Tienes razón.
Sí, está Delaware comiendo helado.
Perdón por la interrupción.
Y en Arlington el presidente Trump estaba con los familiares.
Somos como dos presentadores hablando al mismo tiempo aquí. Pero lo que quiero decir es que el problema no es solamente Biden, el problema es un sistema que se ha dejado llevar por corporaciones y las personas que están dentro del gobierno que tienen esas conexiones con las corporaciones. Así que son las corporaciones entonces las que mandan.
Claro, no te quepa la menor duda. Y las grandes industrias, las que financian las campañas, son al final las que mueven los hilos para un lado y para otro. Pero insisto, estamos en un momento muy particular, Rick, donde tenemos que escuchar cuáles son los programas reales y las posibilidades reales de cada candidato para poder tomar esas determinaciones. Pero sobre todo y por encima de cualquier cosa, olvídense de republicanos y olvídense de demócratas. Piensen única y exclusivamente en lo que es el futuro de esta nación. ¿Tú crees realmente que nosotros estamos en este momento ante una situación? Hemos visto como el IRS, como las agencias federales, como el propio servicio secreto, sin entrar en lo que ha pasado con el intento de asesinato de Trump. Pero ¿tú crees que realmente están funcionando como organismos independientes, como esa separación de poderes?
No, yo creo que se están metiendo en cosas que no deben de meterse y es por razones de corporativo y político también. Es la misma cosa que hemos visto en el pasado. ¿Qué tú piensas de esa cobertura que le dieron a Kennedy sobre el oso que hace 10 años mató? Yo lo encuentro casi cómico.
Lo mismo cuando dijeron el otro día Kennedy, me reía mucho con él porque él me enseñó unas fotografías con sus perros y me enseñaba a los perros y me decía, Marian, estos señores de acá yo los cocino. Me decía, yo cocino para mis perros. Y me dijeron que yo me había comido un perro. Dice, y hubo gente que se creyó que yo me pude comer un perro. Bueno, eso es parte de esa desinformación a la que estamos viendo. Y además, hay otra cosa muy importante. La realidad no la podemos cambiar, pero la realidad se cambia cambiando la percepción. ¿Qué están haciendo estos medios de comunicación en estos momentos? Tratar de cambiar la percepción en la gente. Y así no vamos a llegar a ningún lado, amigo.
¿Tú crees en este momento, si es verdad lo que dicen las encuestas, y yo creo en las encuestas son encuestas, que Trump va a poder sobrevivir esta ventaja que tiene esta señora, nuestra vicepresidenta Harris en este momento? ¿Cómo tú lo ves?
Mira, yo creo que ahí hay varias cosas rapiditas que te
¿Y
voy
si
a
Kennedy
mencionar.
lo va a ayudar o no lo va a ayudar?
¿Quién? ¿Kennedy? Yo creo que le va a ayudar. O sea, déjame
un punto,
decirte algo.
2 puntos,
un
algo.
punto, 2 puntos. Él ya va a abandonar en Arizona y en Pensilvania, ya va a salir de la boleta. Y Pensilvania y Arizona eran unos lugares donde tenía una buena cantera de
Importantísimo.
seguidores.
Arizona especialmente.
Y esa gente que, porque además estaban indignados en que el propio Partido Demócrata, con un apellido como el de Kennedy, cuando su padre y su tío perdieron la vida, y que él podría ser realmente, se hayan convertido y le hayan sacado de esa forma que le han sacado de los debates. Entonces, esa gente que ha visto cómo le han maltratado a su candidato, donde quiera que ese candidato vaya a ir, yo creo que le va a seguir.
Es interesante. Hay los que dicen que sí, hay los que dicen que no. Vamos a ver cómo... Bueno, faltan como
Mira
unos
el rally.
70 días, ¿no? Así
Yo
que...
lo miro, mira, en el rally este último que hicieron, Trump llena los estadios, pero cuando Bob se presentó con él en este estadio este fin de semana, parecía la convención republicana o la convención demócrata.
Es verdad, es verdad. Habían muchas personas ahí. Gracias.
Oye, un gustazo.
No, y para mí, más todavía. Gracias.
Gracias.
De verdad. Bueno, y con eso nos despedimos, pero podemos seguir la conversación, claro, como siempre, por X, donde me pueden encontrar en Rick Sánchez TV. ¿Y a ti?
A mí me pueden encontrar en Marian de la Fuente M.
Marian de la Fuente M. Ahí lo tienen.
Tanto en YouTube, en Instagram, en Facebook.
Vendremos otra vez con Impacto Directo. Hasta la próxima.